2000, right back at you with another video. Yes, yes, yes. Welcome back once again to another episode of Leslie Chambers Kaiju Reviews on behalf of Summit Kaiju and on behalf of Collect All Monsters. And I'm back again with another great X-Plus figure review. Yes, yes, yes. If you saw my last video, I kind of took a departure a little bit from X-Plus with my model kit review of the 1967 Giant Gorilla Roto Kaiju kit review. And I'm back again with a full-fledged X-Plus figure review. So without further ado, let's dive headfirst into this awesome X-Plus Deforeal figure review. And today we're taking a look at the X-Plus Rick exclusive edition of the Deforeal 1974 Godzilla. Yes, yes, yes. Based on his iconic appearance in one of my most favorite Godzilla films of all time, 1974's Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. Woo! And as you can see here, I have the big guy, or the little guy, or the Napoleon Complex guy in all his glory, along with a little awesome mini Rick extra next to him. And as you can see here, this is such an awesome figure. Yes, yes, yes. So now we do things around here. Let's get up close with the packaging on the box before we go into the figure. And this is it with the packaging. Just pretty much just like par of the course when it comes to Deforeals with the window display and blah, blah, blah. Yellow sticker signifying there's a Rick. Godzilla 1974 in Japanese text at the very bottom. And look towards the back, you know, it has the same thing, Deforeal Godzilla 1974, as well as the awesome logo to this awesome film, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 1974, the best version, not the 93, not the 2002, and blah, blah, blah. The real deal version. You know what? I'm sorry. If you like 93 and 2002, hey, don't shoot me, don't hate me in the comment section. But for me, in my opinion, this is probably the best Mechagodzilla film out there, in my opinion. So, but yes, this is a figure, and you know what? This has been a long time coming when it comes to certain Godzilla designs that have not made their appearance in X-Plus's figure roster. There's a couple of them that have not made it there just yet, but by and large, they have done pretty much every Godzilla design from the Showa, Heisei, Millennium. But like I said, there's a couple peppered out there they have not got to yet, and principal among them was the 1974. And I make no bones about the fact that 1974 Godzilla is one of my most favorite designs. In fact, it's probably number 4 on my top 10 favorite Godzilla designs. The first is 64, number 2 is 91, number 3 is GMK, number 4, ironically, would be the 1974 Godzilla. I just love this design, I really do. Even though this is the second incarnation of, you know, everybody's favorite childhood Godzilla, the superhero goofy Godzilla, right? We've seen him with this suit, starting with Godzilla's Megalon in 73. They modified it a little bit in 74. This film, Godzilla's Mechagodzilla 1974. And they modified it just a little bit in the final film of the Showa film series, Terror of Mechagodzilla 1975. But out of all those suits, even though I love the 73 and 75, the 74 is like my favorite among them. And for a while now, they have not gotten to the 74 for some strange reason. Now, they've done a 71, they've done a 73, they have done a 75, but they have not done a 74 and or 72. But I think between the two of those ones that they have not done yet, the 74 was probably the one that a lot of people was looking for. A lot of people was requesting. A lot of people was clamoring for, asking, begging, pleading, please get this out to us. You know what I mean? And you know what? Fast forward to 2020, this year. I know this year has not been the best in the world, but when it comes to these collectibles, at least they've been coming through on a good part of it. We're giving us stuff that we have not seen before. Case in point, at the Winter Wonder Festival show back in February 2020, before the whole world went to crap. Of course, that show was noteworthy for a lot of different things. Of course, we saw the gigantic Mechagodzilla fully painted for the first time in all his glory. They showcased the but the 93 Godzilla that just got released. I want to say the Rick was in July and the standards were in August or whatever. They showcased 2002 25 centimeter Godzilla that should be upcoming real soon. They showcase, you know, prototype versions of the 25 centimeter 2019 Godzilla that just got released, as well as the upcoming gigantic Burning Godzilla 2019 or Fire Godzilla. And they showcase a few Deforeals there. One Deforeal that we didn't see coming was a guy that you will see in size comparisons or comparisons in general later on with this guy, which was the 1974 King Caesar. And out of nowhere at the show, they showcased this. the 1974 Deforeal, you know what I'm saying, with this awesome mini red extra. Now, it just depends on who you talk to when it comes to certain collectors. This figure pretty much was very, I won't say too divisive, but you had some people that were loving the fact that they were doing the 74 in the Deforeal, and you had some people that were not happy. And you know what? I'm not going to go into that right now. I'm going to wait to the final end of the video to talk about that in the commentary portion of the video. But let me just say this. I'm one of the people that I am happy that they got to the 74 in the Deforeal. Because once again, I know the Deforeal line is an acquired taste. Not everybody's going to get the appeal of them. Not everybody's going to love them. Not everybody is going to really be on board with this line. You know what I'm saying? But for me, and I'm like, you know, one of the ones that you would think would never have gotten involved with this line. And for a while, I told myself I wasn't going to. But ever since I got my first one, which was the fourth form of Shin a few years ago, I have just been head first into this line. Now, there have been a couple that I have not gotten to, nor will I get, because not every Deforeal speaks to me. But I got me a good chunk of them. I think this one makes like my 19th one. So for a guy that says, you know what, I'm not really feeling that, I'm not really going to go after those, they have offered some great deformed but yet really super detailed versions of our favorite kaiju, so I had no choice to get these Deforeals, at least certain ones, to put in my collection. And they're just dropping to collectors' hands, I want to say the last couple weeks in September 2020, and this is great. This is great. I mentioned King Caesar. He got released a month ago in August, and once again, you'll see him in size comparison. Excuse me, in size comparison later on. Excuse me. But I'm really glad that we finally got a 74, even though it is a Deforeal. And once you see him pair up against King Caesar and a certain other figure I'm going to showcase in size comparisons or comparisons in general, I think that you're going to be wanting to go after this release. Yes, yes, yes. So without further ado, let's, dive head first and get up close and personal with this guy. And of course, the Deforeal 1974 Godzilla. Of course, the main selling point of these figures is, of course, they have an overly large, exaggerated big head, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like the Funko Pop toys that you see in Walmart or Target or whatever. But basically, as I mentioned many times before in Deforeal videos, basically you get like a Funko Pop video combined with the expert detail that you will find in an X-Plus figure. All the detail you will find in the 25, 30 gigantic Sakai or whatever, you'll find in the Deforeal, it's in a Deforeal form or Funko Pop form. And with the skin color on Godzilla, light charcoal gray, out of all the things that I love about this figure, that's probably the one thing I have just a small little hiccup, maybe call it a nitpick or whatever you want to call it. But to me, in the film, he was more so of a blackish color. Y'all remember Godzilla's Mechagodzilla, right? And Godzilla had more so of a blackish color on his skin, whatever. Now, he was really more grayish like in Hedra. You see what I'm saying? When he was rolling around in the dirt with Hedra. But he wasn't this light of a color in the film, in my opinion. So I think they took some like artistic liberties with the paint job. It's not bad. I'm not saying that it's bad, but it is a little bit lighter than what it should be, in my opinion, to be suit accurate or film accurate, I should say. But it's still somewhat of a dark charcoal gray, maybe like a medium charcoal gray. So the overall effect is there. It's just like it's not the right. It's not the proper paint scheme to be suit accurate, whatever. But once again, that's not a nitpick. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, I'm going to pack it up, send it back to Japan. I don't like it. No, but it is something that I have noticed. And you'll probably notice it too once you get your hands on one as well. But the pose is awesome. You got his arms, stretched out like this, whatever. To me, the pose kind of reminds me of the lightning scene. Y'all know the lightning scene in the movie, you know what I'm saying? After Mechagodzilla momentarily defeats Godzilla, or they momentarily defeat each other, Godzilla goes back to Monster Island, and he gets struck by the lightning in the storm, and he gains his, or harness his magnetic powers that he would use later on in the final battle of the film. There's a point in the film where Godzilla's like hunched over, kind of like this, with his head cocked to the side and his arms out like, whatever, like this, like he's bracing for more lightning to strike him so he can get his powers. The pose kind of reminds me of that. Not trying to say that is what they were going for, but that's what I see when it comes to the pose. The pose looks great to me. You see what I'm saying? You have like highlights all over Godzilla's body here. You have like a little strip of the highlight right here in the middle of the suit, and which was something that we would see a lot in the show of Godzilla. You know what I'm saying? They have like a little a highlighted streak on the torso of the suit, whatever. We've seen that many times in the suits, and it's nice that they've replicated it here. You have dirty bone white color on the toenails, as well as the claws, typical Godzilla. When it comes to X-Plus, the dirty bone white colors on the claws and the toenails. So that looks really good. Let's go around to the dorsal plates. The dorsal plates look really awesome. You have the silver sheen onto the dorsal plates, which is something that's very synonymous with this Godzilla. As I mentioned before, since this is the second incarnation of the Mechagodzilla or the Megalon Goji, or whatever. The first incarnation, the 73, had more of whitish dorsal plates in the film, but when we get to 74, the dorsal plates are really more so of a silver sheen, and they kind of carried over, kind of more dirty in 75, but you get the silver sheen here on the dorsal plates. They look really good. And also the way the dorsal plates are kind of arranged, right? They're not in like a straight, like a straight line, like you would normally see on X-Plus figures. To me, when you have one dorsal plate on his back that's tilted one way, and you have another one tilted another way, and you have the other one tilted the other way, it kind of reminds me of when Godzilla would move, because the dorsal plates, even though they're a part of his body, they're like flimsy appendages that kind of wobble back and forth, and he's like rock really hard. Now mind you, they're not stiff plates like a Stegosaurus or whatever, but every now and then we will see them flop back and forth in certain situations. And I'm glad that when it comes to the dorsal plates here on this Deforeal, they incorporated that in the sculpt. The gigantic 62 kind of has that same thing going on, where one dorsal plate, like the big middle dorsal plate, is kind of slanted a little bit, where the other ones are kind of like, in like a straight line, and one maybe slanted to the other way. You see what I'm saying? So I like that. I really do like that. That goes for suit realism and real film accuracy realism. The tail, it kind of curved around to his right, to the figure's right. You have small little dorsal plates, color a silver sheen on his tail. Looks really good. And last but not least, let's go towards the face. Once again, typical 1974 Godzilla. His teeth, he's more so in a gritting his teeth type of look here, whatever. And the teeth are kind of like dirty. let's be honest with it. They are kind of dirty. But there were times in the film where Godzilla had he would have white teeth in one scene, but then he would have dirty teeth in another scene. The 93 had the same thing going on in certain respects. Principal among them, as far as the scene where you see Godzilla have dirty teeth, it's probably the scene where after he gets his after he harnessed that weird magnetic power to lure Mechagodzilla towards him during the final battle. As Mechagodzilla gets closer and closer to him, and Godzilla's having his mouth open and roaring, whatever, you can clearly see that the teeth are really dirty. But later on, after Mechagodzilla is defeated and Godzilla goes back into the ocean and he's roaring, then his teeth go back to white. So there are certain situations where Godzilla, at least in this film, has somewhat of a dirty paint scheme on his teeth, and it's replicated here on the Deforeal. And let's go with the eyes. Finally, with the eyes. Once again, these eyes are amazing. And honestly, that is probably the main reason why I love this Godzilla more so than the other two, the 73, 75, is just the placement of the eyes. Now, when you look at 73, the common criticism or common thing I hear a lot of people say when it comes to that version of Godzilla, that he kind of looks like a puppy with the big round pupils that's centered in the middle of his eyes, right? But with this film, and since they were going for a more serious take with him, at least the film was very less playful than 73. So they wanted to Godzilla's look reflect that. You see what I'm saying? So they changed the eyes a little bit. And it's just amazing how the difference between the eyes between both suits really makes a lot of difference. Where in 73 he comes across as really playful and just he's determined, don't get me wrong, but he has more of a playful look with the way the pupils or the eyes are painted on that particular suit. But when you go to 74, he has somewhat of a meaner look, more of a determined look, and that's the reason why I love 74 above the other 73, above the 73 and 75. Now with 75, they did change his brow a little bit, where he comes off a little bit meaner looking, a little bit more than the 74. Kind of looks like he has a big scowl on his face. But once again, between the three suits, I actually prefer 74. And the eyes on the Deforeal look really awesome. Also, I think you can also see some veins in the outskirts of the eyes, which is something that you will see in certain parts of the film when they would have a big close-up on Godzilla's face. So X-Plus has really replicated that in this figure. So once again, from head to tail, head to toe, the dorsal plates, the paint scheme, even though it's not 100% suit accurate, but it's still good enough, you know, or whatever. It's not really a big detraction or whatever. It's probably just me nitpicking. But even still, the paint job looks great. The pose looks great. The dorsal plates, the arrangement of the dorsal plates where they kind of like position where they like wobbly or tilting to the side a little bit looks really, really good. The placement of the tail, the sculpt of the tail looks really, really good. Just from head to tail, just a great representation, in my opinion, of the 1974 Godzilla. And you gotta start somewhere, you know. But once again, this figure, at least this design, when it comes to X-Plus, has been requested by so many different people. And I know some people are really upset that out of all the lines that they chose to debut the 74, they chose the Deforeal. But once again, I go into that towards the final commentary portion of my video. Now, before we go with size comparisons, let's go with the Rick Exclusive Edition. Once again, this is a great Rick Exclusive edition when it comes to this release. And of course, it has basically one of the aliens in the film, the 8th aliens from the 3rd planet of the black hole in outer space that has built Mechagodzilla to come down and destroy the world. And you have him basically like in full ape mode with his gun just propped up ready to shoot something or shoot somebody. And he's standing on top, basically the mechanical apparatus or control board that they would use to control Mechagodzilla, which is really, really cool. However, when I did see this, that this was going to be the Rick exclusive to this release, I kind of felt weird that they put this with Godzilla. Because we're already going to get a Deforeal Mechagodzilla 74 towards the tail end of this year, probably I think in October or November 1 to 2. And the Rick exclusive edition of that figure is going to be a light up, right? He's going to have light up eyes. I just thought that maybe this Rick exclusive edition of the 8th alien would have been better suited for Mechagodzilla. I felt it kind of weird that they would put it with Godzilla himself, because they don't really have like any kind of interaction in the film. Like Godzilla doesn't come across a bunch of aliens to try to stomp on them, right? But since the aliens were a part of the same movie, I get the connection, but I just found it weird. But still, it's a great figure. Or at least a great little mini accessory, which a lot of folks are really happy about, that they're really starting to go back to these more mini accessories that bring out artifacts from the film. Because I know a lot of people are sick to death of the lineups, and I'm with you on that to a certain extent. But this is a great little Rick mini extra. Once again, it has a big head, kind of like the Deforeal itself, you know, whatever, has a big head. Or like the King Caesar Deforeal statue that comes with King Caesar. His head is somewhat enlarged, you see what I'm saying? So they went for that same effect here with the mini alien. Once again, the alien, as well as the control board or the mechanical board that they would use to control Mechagodzilla, is really such a nice addition to this overall release. This is a solid release from the Deforeal line, and I love it. And if you're in lot to get one where it's the Rick Boy or the standard, you would not be disappointed with the Deforeal 1974 Godzilla. Yes. So let's do a couple size comparison. You know what? I'm going to bring forth the other two Mechagodzilla incarnations, or X-Plus incarnations, I have in my collection, with the 25cm 1973 Godzilla as well as the 30cm 1975 Godzilla. So let's bring those two forth up right now so we can see somewhat of an evolution of the Mechagodzilla suit. So let's go with that first size comparison. Okay, right, folks, here we are with the first size comparison. Yes. This is so awesome. We have waited years for this to happen. Finally, every single representation of this awesome suit, of the Mechagodzilla suit, yes, courtesy of X-Plus, is now fully represented with the Man in the Hour, the Deforeal 74 Godzilla. We have the 25cm 1973 Godzilla, and finally we have the big guy in the back, the 30cm 1975 Godzilla from these awesome films, Megalon, Mechagodzilla, and Terror Mechagodzilla. Woo! Oh my God, this is awesome. This is so awesome to finally have a representation of this awesome suit represented for us X-Plus. And we all love this suit, especially if you grew up watching these films, you know, whatever. Y'all already know about me. My first ever Godzilla film was Megalon, right? So I grew up on the superhero goofy Godzilla. That version of Godzilla, or that incarnation of Godzilla, or that characterization of Godzilla, that was the incarnation that made me a fan. That was the moment, or that was the incarnation to say, you know what? I'm going to go after this. I'm going to be a part of this. I'm going to be a fan of this. And without this Godzilla, who knows if I would have became a Godzilla fan or not. You see what I'm saying? But once again, the representation of the suit is really apparent here in these three figures. And as you can see somewhat of an evolution of the suit. As I mentioned earlier, you know, you have Godzilla's eyes in 73 have more like a puppy dog look or whatever, but they changed his eyes into 74. When they went to the 74, they changed his eyes where he comes off a little bit more just meaner looking. You see what I'm saying? And they changed the arrangement of the dorsal plates, which I'll talk about in a few seconds. Then in 75, they alter his brow a little bit where he comes off more like a snarling scowl look. You know, he looks even meaner in 75 if that was possible. So you see basically the evolution of the suit, which looks really, really awesome. Now, when it comes to the dorsal plates, let me talk about the dorsal plates a little bit. Basically, it's the same type of dorsal plates. They just play musical chairs with them. You see what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, if you really think about it, they're actually the dorsal plates of the 68 Godzilla. 68 towards 72. Let me change the camera a little bit. You know, whatever. Let me move that so we ain't got the tail in the 74's face. But basically, here's what it is. Like, this plate right here is this plate right here. Right? This plate right here is this plate right here. Okay? This plate right here is this plate right here. And this plate right here is this plate right there. That's basically what the plates were. They basically play musical chairs with them. Let me bring down the 68 so we can go towards the incarnation of the 74 and 75. Now, the 74 and 75 is virtually the same suit. They didn't really change anything involved in the suit itself. Like I mentioned, just his face a little bit. And I think really the 74 had more of a flat head, whereas the 75 has more of a rounded head. But for us, the dorsal plates himself, basically, here's what they did. This plate is this one, this plate is that one is that one, and this one is that one. That's basically what they did. They just played musical chairs with the dorsal plates. But you know what? That is like the best thing about this Godzilla. This the charm. You just have that, you know, that playful look in 73, the more meaner look in general in 74, and even meaner look in 75, but he's not coming to destroy the world. He's come to save us. He has come to save us from Megalon, Gigan, Mechagodzilla, Titanosaurus. And once again, without these films, a lot of us would not have become Godzilla fans today. So we owe a lot to this film, to these films, and to this version of Godzilla. But yes, this is great to have all these figures from X-Plus. The Mechagodzilla suit is finally represented in X-Plus's roster, and I love it. Yes, yes, yes. So let's go with the final size comparison. You know what? I'm going to bring out the other two 1974 X-Plus figure releases that were released this year. Yes, yes, yes. With the Deforeal exclusive edition of the 1974 King Caesar, as well as the gigantic Mechagodzilla Rick exclusive edition. So let's go with that final size comparison or comparison in general right now. Okay, folks, here we are with the last size comparison or comparison in general. And let me just say, I'm so sorry because this is not fair. This is not fair. If this how it would have been in the film, I'm sorry. Yeah, they wouldn't have had no chance against the metal guy. But of course, I want to bring forth this comparison of basically every monster aside from Anguirus from this epic film of Godzilla's Mechagodzilla 1974. On X-Plus's roster in one way, shape, or form. You have, of course, the Man of the Hour, the Deforeal 74 Godzilla. I have the Deforeal King Caesar. And I have the gigantic Mechagodzilla. All of them Rick exclusive editions of these awesome figures. And these are releases that came out this year of 2020. They've been doing great when it comes to, like, you know, representing or doing figures when it comes to one particular movie. You have this film. They've been doing a lot of stuff for the 2019 film, you know. But they have done a great job, in my opinion, for what they put out this year in regards to this movie. And as I mentioned earlier, we're not done with this movie, because of course we have the Deforeal 1974 Mechagodzilla to go up against the little small guys down here to make it more of an accurate fight or an accurate size comparison, because this right here, Mechagodzilla would kill them. I'm sorry, Mechagodzilla would just straight up murder these two. You see what I'm saying? They barely got by in the film when they're virtually the same size. So imagine if this were to happen in the film. R.I.P. Godzilla King Caesar. But still, great figures. Great Rick exclusive editions. And also, before we go, let me just throw this insert here, because once again, The Deforeals, their biggest draw is the fact that they have oversized heads, right? And you have heard me say this a couple times before, that the head size could rival the Gigantics. So look at this right here, and you see the Deforeal up against the gigantic Mechagodzilla, the Deforeal 74 Godzilla, excuse me, up against the gigantic Mechagodzilla, and you see virtually the same sizes when it comes to the head sculpts between the two figures, and it kind of makes you wonder what else may be coming down the pipeline from X-Plus as far as like the 74 Godzilla is concerned. But I'll talk about that in the commentary portion of the video, which we will go to momentarily. But that's pretty much it. With all the size comparisons or comparisons in general I want to put with this 74 Deforeal, he is awesome. He is amazing. So without further ado, let's wrap up this review with my final commentary portion of the video right now. Okay, folks, I'm back with my final thoughts of the X-Plus Deforeal 1974 Godzilla Rick Exclusive Edition. Yes, yes, yes. Such an awesome figure. Yes, it is. From the paint job to the sculpt to the mini alien here, the Rick accessory. It is such a solid release. Such an awesome release. Yes, yes, yes. I probably would go a 9.5 out of 10 because, like I said, of the lighter paint scheme, which is not how it was in the film in certain respects. But that's probably nitpicking on my part. I will admit that. But aside from that, 9.5 out of 10 is still awesome. It's still great. And I will highly recommend, if you're a fan of this Godzilla, even if it is in Deforeal form, please go after this figure. You will not be disappointed. You see what I'm saying? And I mentioned earlier that when it came to this release, or the announcement of this release, there were like two camps forming to a certain extent. There were one camp where you were happy and you were like, finally, we got something in the 74 from X-Plus, right? And you have the other side of the coin that were people that were really upset that out of all the lines they chose to debut the 74. Once again, a design that a lot of folks have been asking for years and years and years, right? And out of all the lines, the Sakai, gigantic, favorite sculptors line, 25 centimeter, 30 centimeter, they chose the Deforeal line. And that really didn't sit right with a lot of folks. Once again, let me talk about, you know, the people who were for this release. Once again, I love the 74 that much that I didn't care that it was a Deforeal. I didn't care that they first wanted to debut the 74 into the Deforeal line. Because once again, I'm a Deforeal fan. Once again, I'm not going after every single one of them. But I was like, the sculpt looked great, the figure looked great, Deforeal, I'm fine with that, you see what I'm saying? Especially with the Rick exclusive release, you see what I'm saying? Even though I found it kind of weird that it would put the alien with Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, I still was like, you know what, I'm going after this release, no doubt about it. Now, for the people that were not in favor of this release, or just were upset that they chose to bring the 74 into the Deforeal line, let me just tell y'all this. It is not like X-Plus is going to stop with the 74 in the Deforeal line, okay? I don't see X-Plus was like, you know what? We're going to bring out the Deforeal. Let's choose the 74 design a lot of folks have been asking for. You know what? After that, we're done. We have hit our glass ceiling. We're not going to produce anything else. You see what I'm saying? I don't see X-Plus doing that. So, in my opinion, this Deforeal 74 is confirmation that we will get a 74 in a 25 centimeter scale, 30 centimeter scale, favorite sculptors line scale. Hopefully, my biggest hope and want and wish and prayer that they would do a gigantic. And as you saw just now with the size comparison between the heads between the gigantic Mechagodzilla and his Deforeal, it makes you wonder. It makes you want one. You see what I'm saying? But case in point, pretty much the good majority of the Deforeal line has another representation of that same kaiju in another line. You see what I'm saying? Like we have the Deforeal Destroyer, we got a 25 centimeter Destroyer. We have the Deforeal GMK, we got the Favorite Sculptors line GMK. We have the Deforeal 64, we have the 30 centimeter 1964 Godzilla. You see what I'm saying? We have the Deforeal 62, we have the gigantic that goes along with him. You see what I'm saying? And we have the fourth form of Shin. And we have the Sakai fourth form of Shin. You see what I'm saying? So pretty much a good majority of all the Deforeals have another representation of that same kaiju in another line. Even the anime Godzilla got a Deforeal and a 30 centimeter version. You see what I'm saying? So it's only a matter of time before we will get another 74 in another line. The only one they have not done yet, far as what I understand when it comes to Deforeals, is the MonsterVerse King Ghidorah, for obvious reasons. You see what I'm saying? For obvious reasons. But Trust me, in my opinion, this is confirmation that we will get a 74 in a 25 centimeter scale, 30 centimeter scale, favorite sculptor's line scale, hopefully a gigantic to go up against the gigantic Mechagodzilla. So I understand for people who are not into the Deforeals, who were upset about this, you see what I'm saying? I would say just exercise a little bit of patience and just understand, basically, based on the examples that I just showed you, that they will make a 74 in another line. We just have to be patient and understand that, for one, X-Plus would not be doing these figures if they knew they could make money off of them. That's why when we see them announce stuff, when it comes to these shows, these online shows, or even when shows were happening before the pandemic, they will really push the Deforeals hard. Why? Because they're making money off of them. So from a business perspective, it makes sense for them to push the Deforeals. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, don't lose hope that they will not make another 74 at some point, because in my opinion, this is confirmation that they will. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of when they'll do it. But trust me, it is coming. So please understand that. But aside from that, this is a great release, especially in this year when we're seeing great other Deforeal releases. The Monsterverse King Ghidorah. Yes, I love that figure, so I'm going to say it's a great release. The Monsterverse Rodan. The Monsterverse Mothra. This awesome Orga Deforeal, the Godzilla 2000 Deforeal, the King Caesar that you just saw. They have been killing it this year with the great Deforeals that they have done so far, and I can't wait to add Mechagodzilla 74 so I can have the awesome trio together to recreate that awesome battle. The final battle of this awesome film of 1974's Godzilla's Mechagodzilla. But if you're locked in to get this guy, whether it's the rig or the standard, you will not be disappointed. Trust me when I say that. So that pretty much concludes my review of the X-Plus Deforeal 1974 Godzilla Rig Exclusive Edition, based off his iconic appearance in one of my most favorite Godzilla films of all time, 1974's Godzilla's Mechagodzilla. You have any questions, hop it down in the comment section. Hit me on Facebook via Leslie P. Chambers. We'll definitely go from there. Yes, once again, great figure. Solid figure, great accessory. Please go after this release. It is awesome. It is all that. Yes, 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 yes. And you know what? Since I'm in the Deforeal mood, I think my next review, I think I'm going to go to the Monsterverse. So please stay tuned and you'll know exactly what I mean when I review that figure from the Monsterverse. But once again, get this guy. If you're a fan of the 74 Godzilla, please get this guy. You will not be disappointed, even though it is a Deforeal. You see what I'm saying? And once again, to all the naysayers, trust me, this is confirmation that we will get a 25, 30 favorite sculptor's line and or gigantic from the 74 from X-Plus in due time. It's just it's not a question of if anymore. It's just a question of when. So please understand that. But once again, get this figure. You will not be disappointed. Trust me when I say that. So thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And I will see y'all again on the next Figure Move review. All right? Y'all take it easy.